But you know it's not lame.
No, it's not lame.
Being with your friends. And this has been your...
As long as it's not naked and sexual. All right, well, sometimes.
Well, like, unless you both agree to it, and like nobody's getting hurt.
Well, if it's consensual, of course.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna read a book. You know what's
We're
consensual?
going to read a book.
Reading this book.
Read books together.
Today we're
You ain't got to get naked for that. But it helps.
Can you imagine? Your balls just slapped right on the page. All right, anyway. We are reading We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Book 2, The Stealer, by Al Ewing.
The first one was called The Seeker, I believe.
Yeah, by Al Ewing and Simone DeMeo.
Simone DeMeo, which I've always thought of as a woman's name, Simone, but he's actually a dude from Spain, I
Wouldn't
think.
it be? It's Simon. Simone?
Most of these Simones
it's
I've met.
generally a female name.
Yes. But yeah, Simone in Spain and France and Italy and stuff is Simon. Yeah.
So yeah, first,
Good job, buddy.
this is issues number 6 through 10 of this book. So yeah, it's only a 15-issue series. So this is book 2 or
Perfect.
3, which yeah, I love it. I love it because this book is such a breakneck speed. Like, I just read 6 volumes of Lock and Key, and it's very similar to that, where it's like, as soon as this book, because of its pace, similar to that, I couldn't stop reading it. I'm like, I needed more. I need more. I need more.
reading it.
So I cracked this bad boy open. I read it in a day, because again, it's only 5 issues. That's what I love about these books. You can bang them out in a day. But if you really wanted to, just like a good lover. Spiraling. This book is what I will say. You were talking about it, and you say it takes a turn in the second book that you were not expecting. Or the story goes a certain direction that you weren't expecting. And I'm here to tell you, I 100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I did not at all expect this second volume.
Let's first of all say this. We didn't reveal what happens at the end of the last book.
Yeah, we were kind of weird about spoilers.
Well, I don't want to spoil, but so here's what we're going to say, is if you haven't read the first volume, go ahead and skip. We're done with the show after this, right?
Yeah, this is the end.
So here's your final joke. Shit. All right. You can go now. But those of you who have read volume 1 and 2, go ahead and continue to stick with us.
Spoiler warning.
We just want to make sure that you don't get any undue. So, all of you who have not read 1 and 2 or 1, goodbye.
So chapter
End of chapter 1, Malik comes back as a god.
Okay, so
And he's alive and he's screaming, and that's the end of the first chapter.
chapter 5, book 1.
Book 1,
I'm saying
whatever.
chapter 6. Yeah. So the end of that, yeah, they finally
Keep it simple, man.
They finally find the god, and it's his confrontation. I forgot her name. With
I do too, but they find a live
The woman
god and they
that's
end up
chasing
killing her by accident.
yeah,
And
Jason makes the cutter on the ship slice its throat and kill
well, not
it.
on purpose. They're doing something
Yeah,
else.
and-
you read the book.
You read the fucking book. And then so they leave Malik and all that shit. So the second book
Takes place about 80 years in the future.
Well, it opens 2376, and it looks like a giant face of
Right.
Malik.
Mhm.
And you're like, what the hell? And it says chapter 6, neither bought nor sold. And then, we just keep seeing this giant Malik, and then continues. And I want to say, I've mentioned Baldur's Gate a lot on this show, but every time I see these captions, it makes me think of that game, because the game has a narrator. And so every time I just think of like an omnipresent narrator just saying this shit in the background, and and I think that's what they're intending, and I kind of love that about it.
So when you get to this second book, you realize, okay, we're way in the future. We're a lot longer, farther away, and it's explained. The reason why I love these books is because you don't need a lot of exposition. It's explained along the way. While you're learning,
it's naturally in the
yes,
dialogue.
Yes,
it makes sense.
And there are flashbacks, well-placed flashbacks that tell you what is really, really going on and shit. Right.
So at this point,
so Malik came back. You understand a couple things right away. Malik came back. Everybody was like, "Cool, we can harvest a god again." But then a bunch of other people were like, "Oh my god, what are you doing? This god is alive." Whatever. Da 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 da. So in the time between the first and second
split.
books, yeah, you have the Earth, which is all the people that are trying to get the resources.
The
and,
harvesters and the Malachists. So the Malachists
Well,
believe
everybody by Malak is a Malachist.
they believe that
yeah.
he became a god.
Yeah, and he
they
is
live
God.
inside him.
Yes.
his corpse.
Mm.
And yeah, they're anti. And it's revealed in this book that they go after these harvests. They find the people that worked as harvesters.
Yes.
Which, keep in mind, was a lot of the workforce because that's how they got resources.
There's one part in the book where a person is talking about, like, I remember when I was a kid and they told me you can go visit on a harvester, and I said no, which saved my life because eventually they go through and kill everybody that even set foot on a harvester. The other thing too, she talks about the main character in this book. She's basically a spy for the Earth, like conglomeration, whatever.
Marilyn Chen,
yeah. She talks about having eaten a steak of god flesh at one point in her life.
Oh yeah.
And how awful it was, how awful she felt. We find out that she doesn't give much of a shit about anything except for the mission.
So I want to point something out.
But she talks about it. It's interesting because she's like, I had no idea what I was eating, but I knew it was not right or something.
I want to point out something that I love about this book that I brought up to you is it has that very old school epic sci-fi feel of we're jumping around a lot. Like we're jumping massive gaps in time.
Yeah.
So like the beginning of the book, it says 2376, and then you skip ahead a couple pages, and now you're in the year 2414, and then majority of
about 30 years.
Majority of this book, the current timeline where we are in the story, present is 2414, but a lot of the timeline flashbacks are going to get like 2404, 10 years before this, and then a couple.
Yeah,
years
most
there.
of the flashbacks in this book too take place anywhere from 5 to 10 years before the current where we're at.
And my favorite thing about it, Malik is only in this story as a dead god.
Yeah,
and you've read book 3. You're currently rereading book 3.
I have to reread it.
There has to be something tying him into that third book, like where he comes back, because he's dead. It ends, and so we got to figure out what happens. And like, oh man, and that's what I'm thinking as I'm reading this book. I'm like, oh yeah, he's dead. They're not going to bring it back. Okay, so what's going to happen with Malik? And then as that's happening, I'm seeing what's happening. I'm learning. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe Malik was never really the main protagonist of this story. And I thought with book 2, it was about Jason. Because
yes,
this whole volume is about bait and switches.
There's 3 protagonists.
There's 3.
Yeah.
Essentially. It's Marilyn Chen, it's Jason Hauer, because you follow what happens to him.
Malik is really
Malik's
the
dead.
Connection to the first book, and Jason was on his crew.
He was his lover.
Okay. No, not that guy.
Yeah, it was.
No, the guy on the ship was not his lover. The guy on the ship had his sister with him. Jason?
Jason,
the black guy?
Yes, he was with Malik.
No.
Yes.
No, Malik had a boyfriend, but he was not on the ship.
Yes, he was.
No.
I left. Oh my god.
Just
show me.
You can show me.
Pull up book 1.
Well, I don't have it with me.
It's the same dude. What are you talking about? He has the blonde hair. The same blonde hair that he did in the first book. I'm positive they're lovers. Let me look this up.
No, yeah, Malik is gay, but he's not. That's not his. No. But Jason was part of his crew, and he's been the basic entire story of book 2 is Marilyn Chen setting off from Earth to go to Malik, the god heart, the god star, whatever they call it. And again, in that community, they've built like a star like community, space stations and shit around Malik, and you can tell when they get to Malik that at some point people started harvesting him because his arms are kind of gone, his legs are kind of gone, but everything else is untouched, and it's like a crime, like we were talking about earlier. Like people were like, if they ever even set foot on a harvester, and she's trying to steal something called the God Brain. Or the God Crystal.
The
God Heart, which is God Crystal, something.
And they reveal that it's like later on in this in the volume, it's revealed that they want the God Heart because they still harvest those because that's the AI they want.
Right. So it's clear that Marilyn Chen is just there for like a corporate, reason. She doesn't give a shit about anything but money and her mission. It's clear, like after a little while, she will say and do whatever it takes to get through these Malachists. And they come across Jason, and they end up actually kind of kidnapping him. And they're like, "Hey, listen, man, we're gonna take this God Heart and we're gonna go away, and they're gonna try and keep it from going back to Earth." And Jason, or the guy in this one, he literally says, "You know what? I'm tired," because he sided with the Malachists because he could read the room. They rescued him from torture, and he knew that if he didn't like go along with it, so he says to them, he's like, "You know what? I've been controlled like my entire life.
Well, because
like the last 50 years.
They tortured him for so long.
Right, but then they released him, and then the Malachists released him. They rescued him.
Yeah.
Right, and he knew he could read the room. But he didn't like doing it. He didn't like being like the earthly whatever, the face of the religion, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they do commandeer Malik, and right after they do that, the person that's been helping Marilyn through kills Marilyn. And she goes, "Jason, I'm actually here from this. And I got to tell you, this is what we want to do. What do you want to do?"
Yeah, so she meets him and says like,
well, so the double cross became a triple cross.
Well, because before that she says, "I won't hurt if you help me, I won't hurt anyone." And so he starts to help her, and they go in the room. She kills the other guards and like that, and she goes, and yeah, we find out that another one of the guards was someone on the inside. That's working for the inner world.
Right. Yeah.
The harvesters are from the inner world.
Right.
And so yeah, they're doing all that, and
I urge you to read the actual book straight through because it's too much to get into.
Yeah,
because there's so much like backstabbing and like just when you think you figured out a character, Chen is a great. Her guard is a great example. Just when you think you figured her out, she flips. It's like holy shit. But I urge you to read it because it's so well done and well written.
Are we not? I thought we were spoiling. What are we doing?
We already talked about her guard.
Oh yeah,
killing Chen.
That's true. We did say that. Yeah.
I did.
Dude.
I did spoil, but we also told them not to listen.
Not only that sequence. But we also were.
But we haven't told you what Jason decided.
No.
Did we?
And you know who
we're not gonna.
We haven't talked about it all is Bristow. Bristow's ascension is running parallel to all this shit that's happening, and he's got his own reasons to not trust.
Is he the guy at Earth, or is he the guy
Bristow
on Malik?
is the guy who takes over the security.
Yeah,
on Malik.
He gets his in book 3. I'll tell you. Yeah, Bristow's an asshole.
We get a
or does he get it in?
So we get a flashback at this, and we find out that he got to his level. He sees what's going on. He figures out, okay, I found a recording of what they're going to do. They're going to steal Malik. They said they want to steal him and go and, whatever. So that's happening, and the security officer is like, oh, okay, hold on and wait a second. Let's figure this out. And he goes to reach in his desk to pull something out, and fucking Bristow just mows him down. He's like, you was reaching for a gun. You saw it. And the other guy's like, what? He goes, oh, you're going to deny what I'm saying? You're going to deny the fucking head of security? He's like, I don't see anything. Like,
oh, yeah. So
then you find out, oh, he's always been a fucking psychopath.
Well, book 3, I will state this. You have a epilogue of book 2, which I won't get into because it kind of has to do with what Jason decides. But you have an epilogue. The book 3 kind of opens up with a little bit of backstory from book 2. And then what's up? Oh. And then it goes into the time of the prologue, which is another 80 years ahead of that or whatever. But one thing I can't stress this enough. Except for Absolute Green Lantern, I have yet to read an Al Ewing book where I'm like, this is bullshit. Fuck this guy. He's a hack. And yes, I'm sorry, but Absolute Green Lantern, I could care less, man. I don't care. But this book and the art is insane.
Yeah.
it is cinematic. It's like cells from an animated movie.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very kinetic.
yeah, and it's stylized. It's not, it's not like realistic by any means, but I mean, how can you be realistic about
Yeah.
a giant god?
It's like an anime.
Yeah, it's stylized.
This is an
There is
example of
there's
kind
definitely
of looking
an,
like an anime that I like
There's-
versus Green Lantern.
right. There's definitely an anime
Absolutely Green Lantern.
inspiration
Sure.
behind
Sure.
his art. Yeah, his art style. But it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous book. It's well written. It's
The lighting is done like again. The reason I say it's animated, it feels animated, is the lighting.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of books play with lighting like
Yes.
this one does.
the coloring too is interesting a lot because you'll have whole pages that are just red.
It's like the shit part where Bristow guns him down.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's gnarly.
You're gnarly.
The double crosses of the guard working on the inside.
Let's not give away any more about the book.
All of it.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
The point is that if you really want to appreciate this second book, you'll go out and get it and read it, and you'll learn about all the double and triple
And the
crosses.
splash pages make me splash, buddy.
Yeah, make me splash 'cause you're wet. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what you're
can't-
alluding to, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to read volume 3.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.